is the great state of Texas. What an incredible gathering of patriots here to save the United States of America. We're gathered here today at an unusual time. What's happening in Washington, this isn't normal. The President of the United States shakes hands with people who aren't there. By the way, I have a theory. That was Harvey. I'm here today with a word of encouragement and hope and exhortation. Good to see you, sir. God bless you. First Amendment is a wonderful thing, and you're welcome to yell whatever the heck you want. I'm here with two simple messages. Number one, America is in crisis. We all know this. You look at what's happening in Washington. The policies coming from Biden and Pelosi and Schumer. We got inflation skyrocketing. Price of everything going up. Price of food, price of lumber, price of homes, price of rent, price of electricity, price of gas. Look, it's so bad. Antifa can't afford bricks. It's so bad. Eric Swalwell can't afford Chinese dinners. You look at crime, we got crime skyrocketing across the country. We have murder rates skyrocketing. We have carjacking rates skyrocketing. You look at our southern border, the absolute chaos at our southern border. Over 2 million people crossed last year, the highest rate in 62 years. You look at the supply chain. Shelves empty in the store. You can't find baby formula. Which I got to say, as a real practical matter, is a problem. What is Pete Buttigieg supposed to do on paternity leave? And then, as bad as domestic policy is, as bad as economic policy is, foreign policy is even worse. Every single region of the world has gotten worse. The enemies of America have all gotten stronger. We have the disgraceful surrender in Afghanistan to the Taliban, leaving Americans behind. And every enemy of America, they looked to the Oval Office and they took the measure of the man in the Oval Office. And tragically, they concluded that he is weak and feckless and ineffective. Now, some of y'all may be thinking, you know, Ted, you said you were going to encourage us. You really suck at this. But I told you I got two messages. And here's the second one. Revival is coming. My father's favorite scripture is from the book of Psalms. Weeping endures for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. And I'm here to tell you that morning is coming. across this country, people's eyes are opening up. You know, there's a natural pendulum sense to politics. Throughout the history of our country, one party gets in power, they go too far one direction, and the American people say, hold on a second, and they bring it on back. Other party gets in, they go the other way, the American people pull it on back. Every single dumbass idea that comes out of this White House, part of me grieves, but part of me quietly celebrates, because it's accelerating the process of changing the road we're on, of bringing this country back. I got to tell you, every Democrat in the country is terrified, from the dog catcher all the way up to the most powerful Democrat in the world, Joe Biden's handler. Listen, even Kamala Harris is getting restless. She just hired Nancy Pelosi's husband to be Joe Biden's driver. And we're going to see in November, it's not just going to be a red wave. It is going to be a tsunami. You look at the things that are opening up people's eyes. It's policies that make no sense. Listen, it takes crisis to reveal someone's character. You look at something like COVID, the COVID pandemic, and it's revealed the character of so many petty authoritarians all over the country who shut down small businesses, who destroyed jobs, shut down stores and restaurants and bars and gyms, who shut down churches, who shut down schools. We will look back at the idiocy of shutting down schools, many across the country, for over a year, and the harms to kids that are going to last with them their entire lives. You look at something like mask policies. It's important to understand this was always nonsense. Let's think about it on the face of it. Okay, what were the rules with masks? The rules with masks: when you walked into a restaurant, you must wear masks because of science. When you sit down at the table, you take your mask off. Again, because of science. And actually, I've got a theory for that. The COVID vaccine and the COVID virus react to altitude. At 6 feet, COVID is deadly. Oh my God, go hide. At 3 feet, it is perfectly harmless. By the way, that explains why Fauci is safe. He's only 5 feet tall. All right, or let's take airplanes. All right, airplanes. What were the rules? The rules were you must wear a mask. Unless you have a peanut. In which case, take your mask off, everything is fine. And again, there's a scientific basis for this. Peanuts cure COVID. Now, somewhere in the back, there's some reporter pulling out his notepad saying, oh, there you go again, misinformation. He's saying peanuts cure COVID. No, you numbskulls. I'm saying this was garbage, and it was always garbage, and everyone knew it was garbage from the outset. But it is powerful as people see this. Their eyes are opening up. Let's take culture. The Democrat Party has become socialists gone wild. Thank God Bernie's not yet in a bikini. But if you look at their assault on culture, so I've got a podcast, Verdict with Ted Cruz. We do it every week. When I did it on campus at the University of Alabama, I pointed out with woke corporate America that soon we were going to see Disney making movies with Mickey and Pluto going at it. Now, what I didn't understand is that Disney was apparently watching the podcast. And they decided to follow through on that. So we got their new movie, Buzz Lightyear, that features something that I never knew the world was missing: lesbian toys. So their new movie, by the way, they fired Tim Allen, presumably because he wasn't interested in their propaganda. They replaced him, so they decided, okay, the movie's called Lightyear, literally about Buzz Lightyear. Let's fire the guy who plays Buzz Lightyear. Because our woke agenda is so important, get rid of that actor. You know, call me crazy, but do toys have to have sex? Like, this is not even a gay, straight thing. Like, just leave the kids alone. But you look at Nancy Pelosi just this week, who went on TV and said, drag queens are what America is all about. Did I miss that day in American history? Look, I understand that George Washington and Thomas Jefferson wore wigs. But I think it was a little different. And listen, consenting adults, you can do what you want to do. But this culture assault is driven by radical leftists who want to tear down America. They want to tear down the churches. They want to tear down our schools. They want to tear down our families. They want to tear down our faith. They want to tear down our values. And I'll tell you, they've gone so far that millions of Americans are looking at them saying, what in the hell is wrong with you people? You look at guns. Texas, once again, we saw the horrific shooting in Uvalde. I was there the day after that shooting. What that evil monster did, murdering 19 children, murdering 2 teachers, it is horrific, it is evil. And if we lived in a sane, rational world, we'd be coming together saying, how do we stop violent crime? We go after the criminals. We go after the felons. We go after the fugitives. We go after those with serious mental illness who try to illegally buy guns, and we put them in jail, and we lock them up, and we keep them out of our schools, and we keep them out of our churches, and we keep our families safe. But what do the Democrats do? They don't want to go after the criminals. And I understand they got to take care of their base. They're not interested in making our schools safer. Joe Biden said, I don't believe in hardening schools. What the hell's wrong with you? Instead, inevitably, every time there's a mass murder, the response of the Democrats is to go after and try to take away the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. It doesn't work. It doesn't make people safer, and it is contrary to the Constitution, and I give you my word, anyone that tries to take away our Second Amendment rights, I will stand and fight to defend our liberties. We just had right here in Houston the National Convention of the NRA. And following that horrific mass murder, you saw the media and Democrats immediately start demonize the NRA. I'll tell you, I was proud to go and speak to the NRA. And what the media and Democrats say is a lie from the pit of hell. Because they try to blame law-abiding citizens who are defending their families and their children for the acts of horrific homicidal maniacs. And what's even worse is inevitably when you have one of these evil murderers, it is men and women exercising their right to keep and bear arms that stop those sons of bitches. People's eyes are opening up. We saw last year when Republicans won the governor's race in Virginia. We saw last year when we came within 2 points of winning the governor's race in New Jersey. And by the way, we beat the Democrat president of the Senate in New Jersey, longtime incumbent. The candidate was a Republican truck driver who spent $2,000. And did anyone happen to see what happened in South Texas this week? Myra Flores, Congresswoman Myra Flores. Over 100 years, South Texas has been a bright blue bastion. Although I'll tell you something my father says frequently down in South Texas. He points out, he says, listen, the Hispanic community, we've always been conservative. 50 years ago in Texas, Texas was a one-party state. It was a Democrat state. There were very few Republicans. This ballroom was about the size of a waiting room in a Holiday Inn. But back when Texas was a one-party state, a Democrat state, there were two parties. There were conservative Democrats and there were liberal Democrats. And a point my dad's made in the Valley over and over again, Hispanics, we were always conservative Democrats. What's happened since then? The crazy, radical, lunatic, atheist, socialist numbskulls have taken over the Democrat Party. And I got to tell you right now, if you're an Hispanic guy in South Texas, if you're driving a pickup truck, if you work in the oil field, if you go bird hunting on the weekends, and these lunatics want to bankrupt you, put you out of work, put your kids out of school, and destroy your family, you're voting Republican. And in November, we are going to see South Texas turn bright red. We're going to elect not one, not two, but 3 Republican members of Congress from South Texas, all Hispanic women. Cassie Garcia, who you just heard from, is a rock star. Monica Dela Cruz is a rock star. And I cannot wait to see Cassie and Monica and Myra go head-to-head with Nancy Pelosi and AOC. And say, tell me again about how good open borders are. I can't wait to see them stand up to Adam Schiff and Gerald Nadler. Please give us your wisdom. That's a short conversation. about what it's like on the southern border. We are going to see an historic shift. Between now and Election Day, I am going to be on the road virtually nonstop, campaigning all over this country. I'm campaigning to retake the Senate and help defeat Democratic senators. I'm campaigning to retake the House and throw the Democrats out of office. I'm working to raise millions of dollars for Republican challengers all over this country because together we are fighting to save the country. And when we win, when we retake America, when we turn South Texas red, it is going to be the men and women in this room, the warriors gathered like the 300 in Sparta. Although I'm glad folks are wearing their shirts. But it is you, warriors that are gathered, that are going to take this country back. So the podcast I do every week, Verdict with Ted Cruz, when we launched it, it became the #1 ranked podcast in the world. We've had over 40 million downloads. We get more viewers on Verdict than CNN gets on their morning show. So I want to ask every one of you to take out your cell phone and text the word verdict to 24005. Let me give you that to you again. Text the word verdict to 24005. You'll get back links to subscribe yourself to a podcast. Because part of what we need to do is we need to be informed, we need to be educated, we need to be mobilizing, we need to be turning people out, we need to be teaching people, we need to be shining the light, we need to be speaking the truth. And this is the remnant that will help pull this country back from the brink. When we win in November, and notice I said when, I'm looking forward in January to walking along the hallway in the United States Capitol and to bump it into a little man wearing overalls, carrying a screwdriver, coming to change the sign on Nancy Pelosi's office. And Nancy's gonna get on her broom. All right, that's not right. That's not fair. Nancy is gonna get on her private jet, the USS Broom, and fly back to San Francisco. Then she's gonna retire to Florida. And Chuck Schumer's going to get on the Acela train and head back to New York City. And then we're going to tell Joe Biden it's 2025, and he'll just wander back to Delaware. This country is worth saving. When the socialists come, when the Marxists come, when the communists come, when those who hate America come to tear her down, when the radicals on the school board try to teach critical race theory to our kids, when they try to indoctrinate them with lies. Texans have never shrunk for a battle. And it is the men and women in this room who will rise to defend the Lone Star State and will rise to defend the United States of America. And I'm here to tell you, brighter days are coming. We will take this country back. We will defend our liberty. We will defend the Constitution. And we will restore the greatest country in the history of the world. God bless you, and God bless the great state of Texas.